Hey, what's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, bringing you my experiences so you don't have to learn things the hard way. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor and none of my content should be viewed as financial advice. If you like what my content offers, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications to get notified when I post new content. It really does help the channel grow and get the content to others that might find it interesting. So what are we going to talk about today? I thought we'd talk about Shiba Inu. So we're going to do Shiba Inu from a fundamental analysis, just like we do for all the other tokens on this channel. I always start with the fundamental analysis and then I'll do regular updates based on what's going on with the community as we go through. Shiba Inu is one of the tokens that I've invested in, so full disclosure, I do have tokens with Shiba Inu, which I'll explain based off of the ranking through the fundamental analysis on why I decided to buy Shiba Inu. What are we going to talk about for our fundamental analysis? We're going to look at the use case, the white paper, the roadmap, target market for it, and then we'll take a look at the breakouts for each one of those categories, and then we'll look at the categories in depth. Just as a reminder, this is what my functional analysis entails. What's up, Crypto Army? I'm Travis, your crypto newbie, here to tell you how you can get $2,340 free. And all the links I used in this video are in the description. Sign up for your free account to Webull for 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300. Your first stock is free automatically. Direct deposit any amount and you get your second stock. Deposit a penny and you get your second stock. Both stocks potentially valued up to $2,300. Minimum value is generally $5. Next, we have block fee. Get $10 in Bitcoin just for signing up, but read the fine print. I've got a rewards account. You'll get $40 in Bitcoin, as will I, so you know exactly what I'm going to get just for signing up. You have to deposit $100 to get your $40. That's the overview, how to get $2,340 in free stock. These are the things that we're going to take a look at through this fundamental analysis, and you can see that the Shiba Inu is not happy with their score, and I'll explain the D when we get to that point. So to start off, let's take a look at their website. And you can see right off the bat, we answer some of the questions from my analysis right here, just by looking at the very beginning of this thing. So we've got a how to buy. So it's got how to buy instructions. We'll click the button here and it takes you to right to where it's at. It's right here on the main website. It's really easy to buy the Shiba Inu. You click on the button and it takes you to ShibaSwap. They've got a decentralized exchange that they've built, which makes it incredibly easy to buy. All three of the SHIB, the leash, and the bone, and probably the SHI when that one comes out as well. If you're not tracking Shiba Inu, it's an ecosystem of coins. They've been building it over the last couple months. Came out in last year for the Shiba Inu. They've got leash, they've got bone. Bone is their governance token. I'm going to cover those in future videos. I'm not going to dig too much into those. I'm going to focus on the Shiba Inu coin, or SHIB as it's known, to start with. Just as a reminder, I'm going to put all the links I'm going to cover in this video in the description, so don't worry about trying to go find them on your own, or you can pull them up by looking at the description and clicking the links now. Now you might be wondering, where's their white paper? Well, they don't really have a white paper per se. They call it a Woof paper, and they're on version 2. They have done an update. I would recommend that they do a version 3. I think it's about time that they put that out there. Their Woof paper is a little bit of everything. How their ShibaSwap works and what you're going to get from the ShibaSwap, because you can stake and you can bury. They've got an interesting lingo. You can do liquidity pairs. You can do a lot of stuff on ShibaSwap. We'll take a look at that here later on. But for right now, I just realized they've got a lot of stuff. So let's take a look at that Woof paper. Now, full disclosure, their Woof paper, for some reason, when I download it, I can't interact with it like a normal PDF document. So we're going to actually look at it in the web browser. And I wasn't able to highlight it because it's in the web browser. So we're going to have to navigate it a little bit differently than I would normally like to do. I don't know why it doesn't save correctly, but when I save it as a PDF, I can't open it back up. There's a file error. It only works from the browser. Now here's their Woof paper, and you can see it looks good. They did a really good job building this Woof paper, and it kind of walks you through where they came from. It's an experiment in decentralized, spontaneous community building. It started off as a meme coin. It's really something else now. It's an ecosystem of different tokens as described by Leash and Bone and the SHIB, and then SHI later on down the road, and probably more. Ryoshi is considered to be the founder of the Shiba Inu token. Not a lot is known about him. When they founded SHIB, they actually gave half of the total supply to the founder of Ethereum. And how they sent it to him was to his hard wallet. More than likely, whoever Ryoshi is, they knew Vitalik Buterin pretty well, because that's not normally an address that people have access to. It's not something that's really broadcast across everywhere. So to have that, Ryoshi must have known the founder of Ethereum. Shortly after the founder received the massive number of tokens that he did, He ended up donating $1 billion of the tokens to India's COVID relief fund. Now, that particular event has been seen in great light throughout the SHIB community, and it focuses on one of the areas that the Shiba Army prides itself on, which is the community involvement and helping the community. And we'll get to that. There's a little bit of that actually on their website, so you can see that. Now let's keep navigating through this white paper. It is lengthy. We're not going to go through the entire thing, but they do walk you through what is their purpose? What are they trying to fix? Why are they unique? And I'll be honest with you, their use case isn't that robust. It started off as a meme coin, really to compete with Dogecoin. I mean, Leash was called the Dogecoin killer for a while. So their ecosystem really was kind of focused on a very specific thing. They didn't really have a good use case, and it really doesn't still. Now, ShibaSwap gives them a use case, but there are a lot of swaps out there. I talk about SafeMoons all the time, but Uniswap, and you've got PancakeSwap, and there's a lot of swaps, so that really doesn't differentiate them. Now, theirs is a little bit different in how they approach it and what you can do on it, but it really isn't that much of a use case in that regard, and they really don't explain their use case or who they're targeting with this in their white paper, or Woof paper as they call it, which is unfortunate because it is a vibrant ecosystem, but I'm not entirely sure that they know what their use case is. They're doing a lot of things, and it's built around the ecosystem, so at least it's integrated, but it isn't necessarily designed for a specific audience or a specific use. They do mention the possibility, and actually it's already available on shopping.io, to use SHIB as a token to buy stuff. So they do plan on bridging into the retail industry. That's one use case, but there's not a lot of information of what's next. They really don't have any kind of a roadmap, none whatsoever. Now, it is on the Ethereum network, which is a whole separate issue all by itself. As everybody's probably aware, Ethereum's gas prices are ridiculous and probably will be for a while. Now, Ethereum's trying to fix that particular issue, but whenever you're going to work with SHIB, you're going to run into that problem. Unless you go over to a centralized exchange, you're going to run into that problem. Now, you can buy SHIB on Coinbase and Webull, and you don't have to worry about the gas prices there. And I highly recommend you do that. That's a great way to do the purchase of SHIB and not having to worry about it. But you can't necessarily interact with it the exact same way on ShibaSwap if you want to take advantage of some of the things you can do there with your SHIB. Now here you can see, they sent their 50% over to Vitalik. They walk you through kind of their upbringings in their Woof paper, which is good. I like that. And they kind of walk through that relationship a little bit. It doesn't necessarily explain it. One thing to keep in mind, and you're going to realize this when we go through the website and here, there's no mention of the team. It's a community-driven project that has a team, but they weren't really there for the initial process. Ryoshi did everything, and then it's a community-adopted and community-driven, which is why you've got a governance token for it, for a lot of the voting. My perspective on things. If you're proud of your project, you don't have a problem identifying yourself. So that's going to weigh heavily into that D, is they haven't doxed themselves. I don't know who's working on the team. I know names, I know Twitter handles, I know Discord handles and how they're referred to on YouTube videos, but I don't have a face and a name to go with the people that are running this project. And you're talking about billions of dollars. It shouldn't be that hard if you stand by your project. And that's going to hurt their score significantly. Now, going on through this, here's where it's going to talk about the ecosystem, some of the vision for what they want to do. And again, their vision is just not much of a vision. It's very broad. It's very generalized. It's not specific enough to really, what do they want to do with this thing? To answer those simple questions. You don't know where they're going. And there's almost nothing on their website about anything. And I'll cover some of the things they're talking about bringing out. But unless you are heavily invested in your time in watching YouTube videos, you're not going to necessarily know what's going on with this community. And that's a problem. Because there's a lot of investors out there that would take a look at this page as their starting point, look at the Woof paper, and then walk away because they don't have a clear vision of what's the purpose of this. How is it unique? How does it differentiate itself from everybody else? Other than its price going through the roof, which it is, why invest in this? Of course, you can make the exact same argument with Dogecoin and look at where that happened to go. So just because something doesn't have a use case and doesn't have a team that you can identify doesn't mean that it won't do well. That's just a risk. And it's a risk that you have to understand and make a decision on whether you're going to tolerate that risk. Now, here's where we're going to start getting into the ShibaSwap. Now, from here to this point on, I'm not going to really go any further into. This is great information for understanding how ShibaSwap works, what you can expect when you bury or stake, leash, or any of the options you can do. This is going to be helpful for that because it's going to actually walk you through what you're going to earn. All right, what's going to earn ETH, what's going to earn DAI, what's going to earn more bone, and all of that is laid out in the rest of this. So let's head back to the website. You'll notice we've got the user ShibaSwap. We're going to cover this a little bit later after we're done with the main website portion. The community, the rescue, the art, the ShibaSwap, and all the different buttons. All these buttons do is navigate you further down the website. So we're just going to keep scrolling down. So what's their ecosystem? How does it work? Now they have a quadrillion tokens. When it launched, it didn't have a burn mechanism. And you've heard my concerns with huge total supplies, even with a burn mechanism. So now we've got a quadrillion tokens and no burn mechanism. Now they have started a burn mechanism, but it's infrequent. It's when they add more tokens or projects into their system, they burn off $25,000 worth of tokens, which is a lot, but it's not that constant stream of burning that other projects have with this many tokens. Even with that, the price is still going up, which is great, especially as an investor. But one of the things that the community has been asking for a long time is more of a burn mechanism. And maybe they'll integrate those down the road because I think they finally figured out that burning is important to getting more investors in. It doesn't matter how many exchanges you put it on, you eventually have to start getting rid of some tokens if you've got a quadrillion of them, or significantly increase your use case. As far as the website, it also has the live charts, which are going to link you directly to DexGuru so you can see exactly what's going on with them. We're not going to click on those particular links now, but that's great. That checks some boxes for us. It's accessible. It's not necessarily displayed, and I'm okay with that. As long as I can access the information very easily as an investor, those are the things I'm looking for. They're making it easy to go find it. I would like to see more options because they explain how to use MetaMask. What about Trust Wallet? What about Coinbase Wallet? You are ensuring that they have to use MetaMask when everybody else may have different options. Now, if you know how to do MetaMask, you're probably going to understand how to use Trust Wallet, and you're probably going to understand how to use Coinbase Wallet. But there's some benefits to each of those. If you've watched any of my videos on buying Ethereum, Coinbase Wallet has some phenomenal prices. They're better than MetaMask. They're better than Trust Wallet for buying Ethereum. Kind of important to put that one on there. I'm just saying. So my recommendation would be to give options here and expand out the how to use to make sure that you're catering to everybody that's out there. Because just because somebody's got Coinbase or just because they have Trust Wallet doesn't necessarily make it so that they understand how to buy Shiba. Now, it's pretty intuitive, especially if you go to the ShibaSwap and you link your wallet. It is fairly simple, but it's just taking it that extra step to make sure that they cater to all the investors that are out there. Make it as easy as possible. And then you've got the ShibaSwap. Now we're going to take a look at the audit report. I've already got that pulled up, so let's switch over to that. All right, so I've already got the audit up on the screen, and you can see they got an 85. Now I asked it early on when the project first launched, what are they going to do to fix this? And I never really got a good answer. And a lot of people were asking, how are you going to improve this? Now there's nothing necessarily wrong with an 85. It's a good score, especially when you consider that not everybody gets an 85 or above. That's actually a pretty tough score to get. And there aren't any critical issues. Now you can actually download the entire thing. We're just going to take a look at the score, and there's nothing critical in here. Now they do have some majors with a total findings of 34 still not fixed. Those are warning signs. Would-be investors are going to come take a look at that, and you should go dig into these. Majors are major issues. It's not a critical. I think they had a couple criticals, but they resolved it. And when they do resolve it, they update the scores. But they haven't fixed everything, and they haven't really explained why haven't they fixed everything. And usually when somebody asks the question, they're a little dodgy on it as well, which it is what it is. And you can see they got 97% resolved, but 34 is a lot. And you can imagine how many they had when they first started if they've got 97% resolved. Now I've looked at the art, and I mean it's interesting. I don't really see that as a selling point for tokens. I feel like they should up their website to include information about NFTs. And you'll see, and if you haven't watched one of my reviews before, I'm pretty critical on updates. And they're working on NFTs. When we get over to ShibaSwap, that'll be obvious. They haven't included that information on here. How about updating the website? Now you might click on ShibaSwap and see it there, but if this is your one shot to get a investor, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be everything that the investor is looking for. in one spot. And then here's the volunteering thing that I was talking about, their Rescue Me link, and that's pretty much it. And then it's just how to contact the community. They have a Discord, they've got their Twitter feed, they're active on everything. You can go take a look at them. There's a lot of good information in there, and that's their website. All right, let's jump over to ShibaSwap's website. Now, when you get to ShibaSwap, this is what you're going to load up to. You can connect your wallet up here. Again, MetaMask, you can connect your Coinbase wallet. I generally connect my Coinbase wallet because that's where I do almost my Ethereum purchases. And then you'll see the current prices up here. And then you've got all these words that this one stands out. Everybody knows kind of what an NFT is. What is Dig, and what is Berry, and what is Woof, and what's your Bonfilio, and then you got the swap. I think most of us understand what the swap is. Very different kind of an interface. So what are these things? So Dig is your liquidity pairs. And if you want to provide liquidity, you just click here and it walks you through the process. NFTs are in process. They haven't actually stood this part of the section up, and usually they use more information as their way to give that information to you that they haven't launched it. And if you click the button, it'll take you to a website that says coming soon. Berry is where you go to stake, and all the rates are going to be included when you click on Berry and on Dig. So that'll all be in there. And then you've got the swap, which is great. It's a really good swap feature. Bonfilio is your status, where you are with your staking, with your digging, and your tokens. It's a great analytic approach. Lots of different options inside the Bonfilio. If you, for example, provide a liquidity pair, this is where you would go to check on the status. Now, you're not going to necessarily see your impermanent loss from a liquidity pair, but you can do the math on what it's going to be. And then you'll get to see what your rewards are and what you've already collected and what's locked. Because how they do it is it's time locked. You get a certain percentage within a week, and then everything else is kind of time locked for 6 months, which is fine, but you are going to potentially have some impermanent loss, and that's always a problem with liquidity pools. And then you go to Woof, and that's where you get to collect your rewards, essentially. All of this costs Ethereum, and with gas prices ridiculous, you're looking at some significant costs for Ethereum to do some of this stuff. I'm pretty much in a standstill on doing anything inside of this system until after the Ethereum costs are back in the box. They've gotten nuts in the last couple of months, and I'm just tired of looking at the gas website to see what the prices are. The prices just need to get more realistic before I'm going to do anything else inside of other than swap. But even then, I haven't really done a lot on the Ethereum network just because the gas prices are just too crazy, and I hate having to wait for gas prices to come down and keep tracking it and everything else. So you can kind of see this is going to be a problem for all tokens on the Ethereum network. If they can't get their gas prices more realistic, it's going to encourage people to do projects on other networks, or to leave the network and set up their own blockchains, or just move to an entirely different network. There's different options. They don't have to stay on Ethereum. But I can tell you, I'm not doing a lot. I'm not going to waste my money just on transaction fees. It's ridiculous. Especially since as soon as you waste that money on the transaction fees, your negative return on your investment, and it could take you months just to break even because of the cost of the gas. It's crazy. Anyway, let's keep moving. Now, they do have a contact us button on their swap, and it works pretty good. I haven't heard any complaints about trying to get hold of the team if there's an issue. When they first stood this up, there was a lot of interaction with the team, and they were always very responsive on trying to fix issues, because there were some issues. Everything that launches always has issues. I haven't heard of any recent issues, so it leads me to think that it's doing pretty good now, and it's not having a lot of what the different buttons are. So if we hit the provide liquidity, you'll see the different pairs, and you can create a pair, and here are all the options, and they have a lot. I'm going to scroll really quick through this because it's a lot. Yeah, if you want to do a liquidity pair, you've got a lot of choices. Let's go back to the main website here. NFTs doesn't take you anywhere. Now, Berry works pretty good. I've got quite a bit buried myself. You can bury Bone. You can bury Shib, you can bury Leash, and you can bury Bone. And the rewards for each is different, and it'll show you those. So you can get more Bone for burying Bone, which bury means stake. If you bury Leash, you're going to get more Bone. And if you bury Shib, what do you think they're going to give you? Actually, it's more than just Bone. You get Bone, you get Weth, and you get Ryoshis. And you get Ryoshis distributed every single week. And you can see this Woof till now, and then when the rest of it's going to be unlocked, that's that time lock. But that's their berry ecosystem for options. And let's take a look at swap. And now you'll see this is very similar to a lot of other swaps that are out there. I'm not sure what the coming soons are. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But otherwise, it's very similar to a pancake swap or a Uniswap. Bonefilio opens up and shows you each one of these is different options. Now, I don't have it linked to my wallet, so I'm not going to see anything. But it would if I didn't. It would if I had my wallet linked to it. But you can click on each of these and see different information about the system, about the ShibaSwap and all the different tokens and all the different pairs. It really is a very robust swap. And then we've got Woof, and this is where you can see the rates. So you can see your APRs right here for each one. And if you click up here, you can organize it and put it in. So 323 for Zig and Weth. That's not too bad returns. Now returns were almost 2 or 3 times this when ShibaSwap initially launched. I was getting some pretty good returns on everything that I put in this. But even now, we're still getting pretty good. I've got quite a bit of Bone Ethereum in there. I mean, 257, that's not too bad, so why not? But Ethereum is on a roll right now, so I am going to probably have some impermanent loss. And it's unsure whether Bone will ever go up significantly in price. It should go up higher. I think it was like $75 maybe for Bone when it first came out. And look, it's down to $2.56. So that's a significant drop. Now, I didn't buy anything at $75. That was the top end of the market when it launched. But that's horrible for the people that did, because they got to be hurting right now with it being only $2.56. And it was under $1 not that long ago. All right, so that's pretty much it for their ShibaSwap and their website. Now let's go take a look at CoinMarketCap. Now you can see on CoinMarketCap, they've had a significant price increase really recently. They had a significant dip when the entire crypto market crashed back in April-May timeframe. And if you bought up here, you're finally in the positive, or you might have been. The price is down a little bit from where it was way up here. And we'll take a look at a closer map here. So this is the 3-month, and you can see we dropped down here. Let's look at the 7-day. So you can see we did pretty good. Now, we've had a whole bunch of different things happening in the Shiba environment. Coinbase listing, Webull listing, lots of different investors having access to it without the ridiculous costs associated with Ethereum, which is driving some of this to happen. Now, how long it's going to continue? Is it going to continue to be at all-time highs? Because that's what we're at. We dropped to 0 in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty good. And there's a lot of people that are really happy because they were really in the negatives for a long time. And they were going sideways for just as long. So we've got some really good market activity right now. For all those people that have been waiting for a long time, good job on your diamond hands, because it paid off. Now, if you look here, you can see that there's 1.1 million people watching Shiba Inu. Why is that important? Well, let's go take a look at holders. So holders, we've only got 698,000. That's untapped potential. Almost 2 to 1 are watching it and haven't invested yet. Now, if all of those investors finally get into this, we might drop another 0. That's a big maybe. There's a lot of people that think we're going to get to 1 cent. We will maybe down the road, but don't expect to get to 1 cent this year or even next year, or even maybe the year after. It's hard to drop zeros. Every 0 gets progressively harder. It's much, much more complicated to get that many zeros, and you have to have a strong use case to continue that kind of growth. Now, I say that, and then I look at Dogecoin, and what's the use case for Dogecoin? Yeah, let me know if you find out. Maybe it'll have a use case because Elon Musk made one for it. But you can also see we had a significant drop in holders just from yesterday. That's possibly all those people that bought at all-time highs back in March and April timeframe and then lost their shirts for months and months and months. They may have run away, and I understand. I do. It's hard to be negative for that long if you held on at all. But we've still got a lot of people watching this particular currency compared to what's currently holding it, which is a strong sign that this is something to keep an eye on. So for their Lunar Crush score, they've got a 64 out of 100. And again, I don't dig into this. The link will be in the description if you want to go check out exactly what goes into this. I look at it as just a roll-up number that accounts for a lot of the same kind of material that I do. So what are some of the things in the future to be aware of for the SHIB and the SHIB ecosystem? They're in the process of doing NFTs, as you saw. NFTs are a huge market right now, so it's entirely possible that you're going to see some price action move forward and up based off of the NFTs once that's launched. They generally do pretty good on every other system that uses NFTs, especially if they've got a really elegant interface. I suspect they'll do pretty well. They're also working on a ShibaRium, their own blockchain, but it's a layer 2 blockchain, so it will be on a different blockchain. Whether it stays on Ethereum, I don't know, maybe. Now, it might make more sense to move over to Solana, because Solana's got significantly faster transfer speeds, and their price for gas is a lot less. Now, what is a layer 2? It's essentially what it sounds like. It operates on another blockchain. It does give them some independence from the primary blockchain, but it's not the same as actually standing up your own blockchain. But you do get a lot of extra benefits by standing up your own layer 2. Now, ask me how I found that out, because it wasn't on their website. We just looked at their website. It's not there. So the only way you get information on this particular token, apparently, is by watching the YouTube videos, looking at their website, and keeping an eye on the community, which is a problem. It's business 101. Your investors, they need to see the information on the website. You need a roadmap. It's simple. Roadmaps are not difficult. Put a roadmap out there so that we can access it on the website and keep it up to date. That's a very simple way to get the information to the investors, because they're not going to look at these videos all the time. Not all of them anyway. So what's an example of a layer 2 token that's out there? And that would be Immutable X, if you've heard of that one. They're a layer 2 blockchain. And guess what their gas prices are? Around a penny, if anything. I want to say I read that it was free, but I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since I looked at Immutable X. I just remember that it was a layer 2. And it did pretty well. As you can see, Immutable X raised $12.5 million in under an hour. It did pretty well on its launch. Now, could ShibaRium have the same outcome? We'll have to wait and see. But if it does like Immutable X did, it could be pretty good. So that's the Shiba Inu token. Now, let's see how they did it. Is the website visually appealing? Yes. I didn't see any spelling errors, no grammar issues. I didn't see any website issues. Team's not listed. Contact method's not on their website, but it is on the ShibaSwap, so we'll give that one to them. They have the security audit listed. Prices are all there. You can access it through the links. Their audit score was an 85. They don't have a roadmap. They have a white paper. There's no spelling or grammar issues. Development team's not known. Is the team professional? Yes, and they generally get back to people in a timely manner. What are the use cases? Token, yes. Blockchain coming. NFTs coming. Wallet, no. Exchange, no. Swap, yes. Games, no. Software, no. Country recognition, not yet. Legal tender, sort of, because you can use it on Shop.io. So we will hit yes. And now we're at a C. I don't see his face changing. Does he look a little happier now? I don't know. It's hard to tell. 698,000. Again, I explain this more in depth on why the scores are so low when the numbers. If you want to check that video out, I'll put a link on the last of this video as well for that. The Galaxy score was 64. They do have dedicated YouTube channels. They have Twitter, Discord. Target audience is a problem. They don't have a very robust target audience. And part of it goes into the use case, because the use case is just not explained. Yes, they're building things out, but they're building things out as part of an ecosystem without really answering the question of why. What is it? What is the goal? Who are they trying to appeal to? In which way are they trying to appeal to them? And I think if they answer that a little bit better, to have a better why that people can relate to, long term it'll help them develop their project to fit the why. Because if they don't have a really solid why, then they can kind of get off topic and get to things that in the community won't necessarily understand why they're building things. So that's why these things are important. That's why I look at them. But overall, they're at a C. They're doing pretty good. Now, a C is not an A and it's not a B. And it was a D until they got put on Shop.io, because that wasn't there when I initially did my assessment when it launched last year, I think, August. So why did I invest if it was a D? Why would I invest if it was a C? For this one, it really came down to the community. It had a really strong community vibe. There was a lot of energy in the community to help prop it up and keep it moving forward. The development team, even though you can't see them, is present, and they're very active in trying to move this token forward. Does that mean I trust the team better than a team that I can see? No. But I trust them more than others that are less visible or less active. There's a lot of room for improvement, but the fact that they're putting the token on Webull and they're putting it on Coinbase and they're trying to get it on Robinhood and they're trying to do all these different things, having it on a lot of exchanges will bring it forward. Dogecoin's a great example of that. But having a use case will propel them further, faster. Having a target audience and being able to articulate who the target audience, either through words or through the website, will attract investors. And that's why these things are important. Now, I didn't invest as much in this particular token as I did in others that had higher scores, that had their team visible. That's the big difference. I might invest in one that's got an F, and I did, and I'll explain that video when we get to on why. But what did I invest in a score of an F? $40? What did I invest in a score of a D? Maybe $500? What do I invest in a score of a C? Depends on where the score is. Maybe it's still 500, maybe it's a little bit more. Or maybe I invest more over time as the score improves. What do I invest for a B? What do I invest if it's a B or an A? I don't have a lot to invest, so it's not like it's going to be oodles and oodles of money, but I might invest more money over time to get to a certain amount. So maybe an A, in my opinion, is to try to get to $1,000. I might invest a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here, and then eventually get to $1,000 over time. Maybe I have a set amount that I'm trying to get to. That's really how I use this. So yes, I invested in Shiba Inu because it had a strong community that was really pushing this token forward. I mean, you could see the price jump and then it dropped real quick. But the community was still there. The token didn't flatline and turn into a rug pull or just everybody pull out of it. It has a strong SHIB army that props this coin up and keeps it moving. And it does have a strong development team, and you just can't see them. And I'm not even asking to see all of them. Who's in charge? Who do you blame if it rug pulls? How would you hold anybody accountable? How would you know who to hold accountable? That's the reason why that's such a huge issue here. I mean, let's look at it. If, let's say, they have a development team and it's known, what does that change the score? It's a B. That one thing takes it from a C to a B, or from a D to a C. It might even be strong enough to take it from a D to a B. It's a heavily weighted item. Now that's pretty much it for Shiba Inu. Hopefully you found my content useful today. I do review all comments that you leave, and I try to be responsive with videos that you request me to cover, whether it's tokens or how-tos. I try to be as responsive as I can to those requests, so make sure you keep coming in. I'm always interested in looking at different projects. Some of them I may have already looked at and I just have to prepare a video for. Or I've already invested and have money in it as well, so it's really easy to take a look at those. Just a reminder, if you found my content helpful, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications. It really does help the channel grow. Until next time, stay strong with those diamond hands.